Hey guys, welcome to episode 68 of LTFM. Today we have a special guest, Larry Love. Hello.
Pew, 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 pew.
How's it going?
Uh, my day started out really like, I don't want to get out of bed. Well, I sleep on my couch these days, to be honest with you, because it's cozier.
Hmm.
And because my scooter was in the shop, and I was like, I got to pay X amount of money. And then the lady at the shop who does all the like the book work and all that, she is like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "Whatever. I'm just here. It's my day off." And then she's like, "Oh, okay." So she was nice and she hooked me up with like a discount on my bill. So shout out to her.
Shout out to that lady for giving a discount. We love a discount,
For real, especially
honestly.
nowadays.
What kind of a scooter is it?
It's a piece of garbage Super Mach 49cc.
What the fuck is that? I'm like, I ask you and then I don't know anything. What is it?
It's basic. It's a Super Mach 49cc. So basically, it's like, hey, I want a scooter. It's like a step above something you would buy at Walmart, basically.
Ah, okay. I see. Hey, but you're doing it. You're getting
I
around,
mean, that's exactly. It's like,
right?
and plus, I live in a city small enough to where I can like buzz in and out of traffic without any problems.
Yeah. Are you living in Illinois or somewhere else now?
I'm actually in New Mexico at the moment.
Holy shit! That's
Yeah,
awesome. We love in New
yeah,
Mexico.
yeah.
That's cool.
I tell my friend this all the time. I'm literally around the corner from Jesse Pinkman's house in Breaking Bad. Even
Yeah?
though I've never seen a single episode of that show.
Did you ever like go see that statue? There's supposed to be like a huge statue of him somewhere out there.
I
I-
I I Breaking Bad wasn't my thing.
it's like a big ass bronze thing or something. I don't know. I just went out there for a concert one time and I was like, damn, I could live out here, but I'm still
It's not.
here.
Look, it's not. I tell people this all the time. If you want, if your idea of a good time is okay, I either want to eat, drink, go to sleep, or go to a concert. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. I'm like, that's all I want to do. I don't even want to do anything else. Just trying to hang
Pretty
out.
much, it's the perfect city for introverts because you're in proximity to nature. There's lots of like eclectic artsy stuff you can walk to and go to and get like getting across town out here is like 5 to 10 minutes compared to like somewhere in Chicago. But
Yeah. Yeah. That's not bad. How long you been living out there?
I've been living here for about it'll be 3 years in October, and I moved here from California.
Damn, you've been everywhere so far.
Fuck yeah.
Wow. That's nice though. One day. I've just traveled. I've went on vacations to places, but I was like, haven't
Where's your
moved yet.
favorite place? Where's your favorite place to travel?
Uh I guess like for the amusement park like aspect of it was Florida, just because I like to go to like Universal Studios and stuff like that. But I just thought that New Mexico was really nice. New Mexico was like that dry kind of heat, so my hair wasn't getting all fucked
Yeah,
up.
it's
And
yeah.
I was like, I'm not sweating. I'm outside. I was like, wow, nature. And I was like not dripping at all. Like
Right. It's
so
like, wow, it's like someone took a part of Chicago and threw it in the desert.
yeah, and it was like, wow, I can actually be comfortable outside. My shirt's not all wet. Like, I'm not embarrassed.
Once I tell people this all the time, once you discover what living in dry heat is like, you will never go
Ugh.
back.
It makes me just pissed off to have to deal with the fucking humidity. Or I check in, and it's like 99%. I was like, so it's going to be awful as soon as I go outside.
Pretty
It's
much.
so
Houston,
bad.
as bad as the Chicago area humidity gets, Houston makes it look like a cakewalk. That is some bad humidity.
Yeah, I've been to like the very bottom tip of like Texas over there, and it was really bad. I got my first sunburn out there, and I was just like,
Okay.
damn, this shit is not forgiving. I was like, I didn't know the sun could burn me. Like that's how bad
Right.
it was.
It's like when I went to Phoenix for the first time and I was in a lift and I asked the Lyft driver, so I'm like, so how hot does it get out here in the summer? He's like, oh, we get to around 110, 115. I'm like, what?
Holy shit. Right? I'm like, that's a lot.
It's like
80 and 90, I'm dying out here.
it's like when I took a plane ride to go to Vegas because I had a layover, and they were like, they do that thing as we were pulling into Las Vegas International, Henry Reed, yada yada yada. It is
Yeah.
currently 100 degrees at 10 p.m. I'm like, the sun is down. How?
Right? Like it's supposed to be cooler. Damn. Yeah. It's always so weird when you fly into other places at night. And it's like, it's weird to have that much heat when it's dark.
Oh yeah, it's scary.
Like, that
But
doesn't make any sense.
I wouldn't trade it for anything else. That's why I told my mom, I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of I'm staying in the desert for as long as humanly possible.
Yeah. It's like fucking 13 degrees out here right now. So, you know,
Whoo! It was
that's fun.
57 and it was 70 on Monday.
All right.
That's
Well,
it's not
I'm
a humble
jealous.
brag, folks.
But it's
Folks, that's not
so
a humble
nice.
brag. It's
That's
it's New Mexico. It's not a brag.
but but it sounds so good. I know I had like a friend recently and she's like, "Yeah, I'm moving to Texas." And it was like that first week that we got like heavy snow and I was like, "So long, partner. It's going to be real nice out there." Yeah.
A place before we get started. And speaking of traveling, actually, during the show, for the good folks listening at home, I'm going to be flipping a coin that decides whether or not where I'm going to go for my first international trip next year. Heads
Oh
London, tails
shit.
Brazil. I'm not going to make a
Okay.
big deal out of it. You're not going to know to the end. So, but
Okay.
a place to what was I going to say? A place you should definitely check out is El Paso.
Okay.
It's
And why are you
basically
recommending that?
it's basically like, hey, if you've ever been to Joliet, imagine that much more compact, but in the mountains, and Juarez is right there.
That's a good explanation of that.
Honestly, I liked El Paso more than I did Austin, Texas, and I'm being straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so we'll find out at the end which one you're going to, huh?
exactly. My choices are it's like I said, it's London or Sao Paulo, Brazil. London is heads, Brazil is tails. So
Okay. And then when are you going there? When is this trip happening?
sometime next year.
Okay. All right. I'm excited. All right. So today we're going to be talking about first jobs, like the shittiest jobs that we've had, just different work experiences, things like that. Um, I guess, have you had a bunch of jobs? Have you had a bunch of like different ones?
I have had so many jobs since the year of our Lord, the great year of 2011. It
Okay.
is insanity. I think the thing about me is like back in the day, uh, it's still kind of like this. Like, you know, 2011 recession, America is slowly getting back into gears and all that. Like things are slowly normalizing, and it's like I sucked at filling out job applications, and they got to a point where I'm like, I don't think I'll ever get a job because I was one of those idiots that'll be like, oh, they're asking me these questions. Let me just tell them how I really feel.
Oh
If
my
somebody,
god. Exactly. In the beginning, you're just like, I need to be truthful, right? Fucked yourself.
right? It was like if Jerry is stealing from the back of the warehouse, what did you do? It's like mind my fucking business.
Right? Yeah, honestly, because I was like, look, I'm just a good person, right? I'm not trying to get in anyone's shit.
Right. I mean, look, as far as I'm concerned, Jerry probably should be owning half this place as long as he's worked here.
Honestly.
But like, so like, my brother, he had a job first before me. I was like in this weird state after high school where I was like, I don't know what I want to do with my life. I was gonna go to art school, but I don't want to now. And I
Yeah.
settled for a little brief tenure at the community college that we're all familiar with in the area we live in.
Hmm.
So that sucked, and so did not having a sense of like independence that you get from working. Because I think that's the crux of it. Is like you get like the age of 18 to 20 is such a weird stage because you are not in high school, but you're not old enough to be looked at as an adult. And sometimes, depending on where you are, you're treated like you're still a teenager, even though you technically are. But a part of you doesn't want that. And then you see, with social media, you see people going to college or working jobs or going to parties and doing this. And you get, at some point you're like, all right, I have to find something.
Yeah. I feel like it's just really hard to try to find something because it's like being that young, I just need to make money. And then like you start
Exactly.
getting things you have to pay. And then it's like, damn, but how do I find something that I want to do? Because honestly, the things I want to do, I'm not making any money. I just want to like
Exactly.
paint and hang out and have people just be like, oh, here's money for being cool. You know, like
Right.
I
If you
can't
grew
get
like
paid for that.
if you went to high school in the late 2000s, all you thought adulthood was like, oh, I'm going to live in a trendy city somewhere
Yeah.
downtown in my loft. I'm going to date someone that's like racially ambiguous. All my friends are going to be either artists, teachers, or activists. Like you had it all planned out, and it went nothing like that.
Right? I'm like, look, I've got maybe one friend. I'm just kind of in my room. I got nothing going on still. Like
Right.
everything's so different. I'm like, and paying bills fucking sucks.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Your Walmart Straight Talk phone bill will definitely be a pain in the ass.
Right? It's like that's exactly what I had though.
Yeah,
Cuz
same.
I was like, wow, I'm fucking living. Did you work at Walmart?
No, I did not.
Oh, okay.
My first ever job was at Garrett's popcorn shop.
Wow. How did you like working there?
I hated it.
How old were you?
I was 19. It was so I was
Very
like,
first.
look, very first job. You could tell I was kind of not. I'm not gonna say I developed late. It's just more so I was, dragging ass as opposed to like, okay, get your life started. Like, start doing something, anything. Like,
Yeah.
you do not want to be the person who's asking their mom for 50 cents so you can get a big drink at a Speedway. Like
Yeah.
time out for that shit at 16. Like for real.
Yeah.
So I worked for Garrett's, and I worked at the Garrett's in downtown Chicago in at Navy Pier.
Holy shit. Okay.
I know. So, oh, trust me, the shit's not the shit storm is not even. We're not even at the station yet. We're still getting ready and hurrying out
We
the
just
front
have
door.
the name.
Right. And I got hired by this dude. How could I? What was his name? Might have been Rich or Todd or something like that. He just had this really weird. He looked like a Pixar character almost. Like he had this bright red hair. The way he
Mhm.
talked was kind of like I'm trying to be the hip, cool manager, but I low key don't like you type of guy.
Yeah.
So I got hired by him, and my first couple shifts, and see, not living directly in the city at the time, I took the train to commute, so it was like a bit. That's a whole thing back
It's an
then.
entire journey.
It
I'm
really
pissed
is.
already.
I know, trust me.
Every day for work, I'm pissed.
Oh my god! And see, every time I would come there to work in the morning, he'd always be there, and I noticed he'd be selling like these big bags of popcorn under the counter, like to get himself some, which is low key smart because it's like it's Garrett's popcorn. People are gonna pay top dollar for a lot of it. I
Mhm.
don't blame you,
Yeah.
but it sucked. It sucked so bad. I have never hated a job in people so much. Like for the folks at home, it's just simply shaking popcorn in a bag, bagging that shit up, putting it in the lunch paper sack, and
Simple
telling the
shit,
person to fuck. Simple
right?
shit. But when you have undiagnosed anxiety and you like buy it, and you buy into like all this like self deprecation bullshit that you're a loser, you just make a mountain out of molehills when it's not needed. I swear to you, I have never hated a job. And see, to dial it back a bit for people not familiar, if you just started working, say, the past 5 years ago, it was the culture of getting a job was so different. 2011, 2020, like pre-COVID, pre all of that, it was so different. For some reason, you had to dress like you're going to Sunday school for an interview at Taco Bell. Like,
Yeah, right. You had to dress up. You had to wear
it
like
was
a
ridiculous.
shirt.
You
Yeah,
had to wear a dress shirt,
a
a dress shirt,
buttons has to be tucked in. Don't have any wrinkles in it.
right, just to sell some Grand Slams at Denny's. Like, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, man.
And then and it's like this was also the time period because I remember this. There used to be this magazine in Chicago that was free called Chicago Red Eye. Like the culture of work back then, there was this article that said internships, paid or unpaid, like that was the climate. Like it was, you were at the mercy of these like BS jobs. And Garrett's to me was like you just got some really dumb, shitty people like as customers and guests. Like I remember this one guy, he came into there and he did that thing like he's about to start doing stand up with his hands up. It's like, so how does this work? Like,
People come into jobs and they
oh
say
god,
like the dumbest shit because I don't know what you want. Do you want me to laugh? Do you want me to respond in like a silly way to like mirror you? I don't know what they want, but they
right,
do weird shit because like when I'm going somewhere, even if I don't know how it works, I'm like, I just need a minute, right? Just
right,
stay over to myself doing something. I'm not trying to make jokes. I'm not trying to like talk to you any more than I need to. I'm
right.
just trying to like, let me think. Give me a second. But people just come in there fucking weird to
You
places.
you just get like there was this one guy I'll never because you know about how Garrett's has the Chicago mix, right? A very
Hmm.
simple concept. It's
Yeah.
caramel and cheese in a bag. A guy I'll never.
What the
This
fuck
guy
did he
came in there
say?
with his family, right?
Okay.
And he was taught his kids were explaining it to him, and then he looks at me. So you mean it goes in the same bag? I'm like, yes.
That's
Like
the whole thing. Everybody knows
I'm
that
not
that's the mix.
explaining long division or the Pythagorean theorem. It is two liters of popcorn going into a bag that we shake up for 10 seconds. You fucking child.
Yeah. In front of his children.
Like
They're
literally, I like that job's. Oh god, I hated that fucking job. And
How
this
long
was
were you
back.
working there?
I worked there for about over a year, and that was
Oh my god, you were really working.
and see, it sucked during the summer months. It sucked so fucking bad.
Yeah, because it's busy
Like
over there.
right, and see, this was before Navy Pier actually had something that gave people a reason to go there. Like this was back when Navy Pier was like, what is the point of this? There's
Yeah,
nothing
it
here,
was just like a Ferris wheel, and then you just could do like that walk, right?
and
And
that's
then
pretty much
there was
it.
like a movie theater in there.
And that's it. That was
Yeah,
literally it. And during summer months sucked because we got a lot of people from across. Because technically speaking, Navy Pier is the only major tourist destination, like legitimate one. So we got people from fucking everywhere, and it's just like I just don't care what you like. Let me preface this by saying I'm someone who's very, to a degree, I can come off as kind of like not cynical, but like easily aggravated. And that job just pushed me into like the classroom of cynicism because it's like I just to see grown adults just flip out because I didn't make their bag properly or I didn't have any buttered popcorn, even though it takes 5 minutes. And
yeah. Isn't it crazy that you will just work somewhere and people will just be like, I gotta make you feel like absolute shit about yourself just because you're existing here?
yep,
Like, I could never go somewhere and be like, damn, oh, we're out of something, and be like, oh, that sucks, right? In my head, but I'm
right.
like, okay, bye. And I'm just like leaving. All right, never mind. But like, I could never go somewhere and be like, what the fuck? Why did you do this? Why isn't this like this? Because it's like, I have to work here. You think this is my dream to be working, making popcorn right now?
It's
And you're
like
gonna
I'm
come in
sorry.
and talk to me like that?
You expect me to work at my job? Are you insane?
Right? Oh, I thought I was supposed to have a good day today, but thank you for putting me down.
Right.
The
I'm
fuck?
sorry that life is not your like your dramedy where everything in life has to be like where everybody's
Right?
smiling and fucking dancing and
Everything
doing
wasn't perfect for you.
doing
Sorry, I
vaudeville acts
exist.
for you.
Yeah.
Exactly. And see, oh,
Man.
speaking of sorry I exist, this was also the idea of raises from that era was so insulting
Oh
and
my god.
disgusting.
Oh yeah, what were you making at that first job that you had?
I want to say I was making like 11 something.
Holy shit. Wow,
I want to say so.
I was making like 860 something at my first one, but I was working at Walmart. Kill me. It was
I
awful.
know. It was I'll never forget one of my coworkers was like, "Yeah, I got a 5 cent raise." I'm like,
Yeah,
it
when they
was
used to do that shit, spit in my
it's like
face, please.
no, seriously. I had this term of phrase even back then. I'm like, if you could find that amount on your way to work, it was not a raise. Like,
Yeah.
come on, dude. You could accidentally
Honestly.
find 10 cents back then. Like, be for
Yeah.
real.
And then when they would like call you in the office to be like, "Oh, we're giving you a raise," and then they tell you, I'd be like, "I'm fucking embarrassed. You called me in here to disrespect me, right? Now I'm
Basically.
pissed. Now I'm pissed, and I got to go back to work because I got 5 cents. I've gotten
Right.
like, oh, you got a 15-cent raise, you got a 20-cent raise, and it was like, All right. Well, you could have just like let me keep working for the day and just
Oh
emailed
wow,
me.
I got a I got a fucking hard piece of Bazooka Joe gums worth of raise.
Oh my god, honestly, right? Like, thanks. I'm gonna go enjoy my life now. I'm gonna go on a vacation because that raise.
Right,
Man,
but
yeah.
thank God I got fired from that job.
Why'd
Thank
you get
God.
fired?
So I basically didn't show up on days that I requested off because
Yeah,
I went to ASIN at the time, and I'm just like, all right, they ain't gonna care. Like I requested days off, then I come into work and they're like, the manager just made that whole big show of, okay, come sit down here, we got to talk, yada yada yada. This is why we're letting you go. At the time, I was legitimately bothered because it's like you can't even hold on to a job. See, that's the whole psychology of having a job to a degree. It's like when you're there, you hate it, who cares? But when you get fired, that's when you just make it more important than it need be when it
yeah,
wasn't.
right. It's also just like, look, when I give you a request off, right? I'm giving it to you with enough time. So I'm basically, I shouldn't have to ask you because I'm given so much time. I'm telling you, I'm not going to be here, right? And I'm letting you know
Right.
versus like, if you didn't put that request in and you just called off that day, it would have been different. But
Right.
like, just fucking give me the goddamn day off. That's why you're a
Right.
manager, right? You got to
Have
come in. That's your
Ashley and
job.
Gina fucking cover my shifts. I only work
Right?
2 days a week.
It's only 4 hours. What the
I
fuck?
hate
Like,
it here.
come on. Yeah, honestly,
Thank
whenever like I request days off, I was like, I'm gonna call off no matter what. I have something I want to do. Please let me just live my life and be a little bit happy.
Please. It's like there's a specific reason I'm not gonna jump off the pier on my way to work. Like,
I
please,
want to
just give
kill
me this.
myself every day. Please let me go have fun one day
I have
during the week.
I have to talk to people who, when they see minorities, they literally get wide eyed and almost run out the fucking door.
Please, I don't know if we're gonna have enough popcorn that day. Like, I cannot. Yeah, the first job that I had was working at Walmart, and it was the craziest things ever like people would do to me. Like one time I got yelled at by this man and cuz he was like, "How dare you?" I was scanning his groceries and put them in bags and he's like I was like, "What?" And he just didn't say anything and he just was like, "How dare you? You put dog food with people food? You can't do that." And it was like canned soup or whatever and like a can of dog food and I was like, "Bro, it's in cans." And then he went into this whole thing about how I was like awful and how dare I do that and like it's just not a thing that you do. It's disgusting. And I was like, "Bro, it's a can."
So it's like it's not it's disgusting to put this canned packaged good in the bags, but that person wouldn't have a problem with it in their house where it's probably next to other food. Like
Yeah.
you usually keep dog food next to, like, say, a pantry area or something.
But you also put the cans on the conveyor belt right next to each other.
Exactly.
And
What
I was
different?
just
Oh
like,
God.
what? I used to get yelled at for like this lady was like pissed off after she paid for her groceries because she started looking at the prices on her receipt and she's like, "Why did you charge me that much for that sugar? It said it was this much on the shelf." And I was like, I literally just scanned it. It's not like I ran back there and changed the price and did some magic or something. I was like, I just did it. And she's like, "I need to talk to the manager." So I had to call the manager. I was like, she's upset because I charged her for the sugar and I just scanned it. Like the stupidest shit.
Mike, could you stop hitting on the new hire and come talk to this woman, please?
Honestly. Yeah, it was just it was the craziest thing. And I just like I don't know. I don't understand why people were the way that they were at Walmart.
It's
It
like
was a fucking mess.
they come from. It's a generational thing because they come from an era where, like, the main street market was a thing and all that. So they think that it works the same way. It's like, no, I'm sorry, we have the Waltmans will whip us if we change or take anything off. Like, just pay
Yeah.
the price.
Yeah, it was just like a lot. I was like, I can't do this anymore. So I had like, I had put my 2 weeks in because I was like, I can't fucking do this. But I didn't want to tell my parents because they were like, you have to keep that job. Like, don't, like, you can't call off. They'd be pissed off if I called off and shit like that. Cause they're like, you're going to lose your job. And then one day I was like, I got fired. Cause they were like, why aren't you going into work? And I was just like, I got fired. And they're like, why? And I made up some fucking excuse because I was like, oh, I called off on a day I requested or some shit. And then they were like, they were pissed off. But I was like, bro, I couldn't do it anymore. And then I got another job. But why I put in a 2 weeks, I don't fucking know. I was just
And
like, oh, I was overwhelmed. I was thinking about it too much.
and look, it doesn't even matter.
Right. And I was just like, why the fuck did I even do that? I should have just like walked the fuck out. There was days
I
that like I went on lunch and I was like, I should have just fucking left.
I agree. It's like it's such a weird thing about like how these jobs become like this because it takes up so much of your like day to day. They become this permanent fixture and all that, and like, but then you get that realization like I could literally just walk out and get another job.
Yeah. But it
Like
takes a minute
it does.
to do it. Like for that first one, I was at Walmart for like a fucking year. Why? I hated that fucking place. Like every day I was like, I fucking hate this shit. I just like lost my life day by day and I just couldn't believe why I stayed there so long. But it's like that first job hold where it's just like
Yep.
don't lose it or you're never going to get another job and it's going to be
You're a
so hard.
loser. You're a
Right?
loser. You're a loser.
Every day getting ready, brushing your
And then
teeth,
you
just looking in the mirror.
and then you like when you fill out another job application, why did you leave your last job? That comes up.
Stop. And then you start thinking about it and you're like, are they going to know? Are they
Right?
going to
They're like,
call the other job? Because they always
oh
want so
no.
much information. I'm like, they want my manager's phone number? What the fuck? They need
It's like
references?
it's like back then, job applications were like the equivalent of like a study guide for the ISAT test. Like, it's just like, bro, you do not need 70 questions. I don't. I'm 18. I don't have 3 references professionally.
Right? And then it's just like, after filling out one application, you're just wore out.
You are.
And it's like, fuck. Or like, you'll go places because you had to pick up applications, like paper ones. Like, some places didn't have them online. And that felt stupid. I hated doing that shit.
I hated going up to what was the one place I wanted to work? Borders. When that was a place I wanted to work
Yeah.
there so badly, but I couldn't.
No.
That system rejected me
Yeah.
100%. But I think another job I wanted to work at was Best Buy. And again, like I got the interview, but I sucked at it. Like it's one of those things. It's like job interviewing and job hunting. It's a trial and error thing. Like don't ever get too hung up on it. Just got to get up to bat and just keep swinging because you'll find something.
Yeah. I feel like after I quit Walmart, I was like, I'm just gonna apply for something else. And then like it feels like that first job, it took forever for you to get it. Like you're putting
Yep.
applications in everywhere, right? And then after you leave that shit, randomly it's like, oh, I got this interview, I got this interview. And it's like so easy to get a job. And I'm like, what the fuck was happening? Why was it like that for me?
No experience.
It's right. And then I
That's
was
what it
like,
is.
then I started realizing I was like, I need to lie, right? It's not gonna
Yep.
hurt. I can say I can do that. Started lying on all my applications. I was like, how many years of experience? 3, 2, 1. And I just started getting jobs like you would not believe.
Yes,
I
I was
became like a cake decorator because I was like, I could fucking squeeze icing.
right.
And I
Well,
got
yes.
and then I got then I
Well,
got
yes. I'm vice president 3 times in a row. Why do you ask?
yeah, and I was just like, man, yeah. So I got like 2 different cake decorating jobs because I was like, yeah, I have experience, and I was just like, that was great. But like lying definitely gets you in spots. Like how you were like, oh, if that guy's stealing, what are you gonna do? I'd be like, damn, what would a
He's just
manager want to know?
right. He's just rearranging product back there. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's awful. Or they're like, why do you want this job? When that question comes up, and I'm like,
That always. I just hate. It's like, dog, don't disrespect me like this. I understand I'm 19. I understand I'm like angsty and like mad at the world and jealous because no girl is talking to me. But don't do this to me, please. Don't disrespect me.
right? Don't make
Don't
me
play in
answer
my
that
face.
stupid question. That one was always like, because I want to help people and I like people. And then I was just like ready to hang myself in the bathroom every day. Like, it was just not good. Uh,
It's always preferences like I think the thing that always helps you get your job, depending on the manager, is if you make them laugh or if you like get them to talk about themselves a bit.
yeah. And like in the beginning, I was like, I'm sweating so hard through my clothes right now. There's no way. Like I'm panicking. Then I start thinking about my sweat, and I'm like, are they looking at me? Did I hear them say something? Like I don't even know what's going on. I'm panicking.
And then it's like, depending on the type of person, they're like, huh, I wonder if I sent in that order. Oh shit, I didn't.
Yeah, it was a lot. About how many jobs do you think you've had? Because I was writing them down, how many I've had, and it's
Oh
wild.
God. Let's see. So after Garrett's, I worked at Toys R Us for a season. Uh, then we're getting to the really the dark place job.
Okay.
The fucking Schindler's List of
What
occupations.
did you have?
I also worked this job in Navy Pier. I
Oh
worked for
God.
the I worked for the janitorial service known as Aramark.
Okay. And how was that?
I wouldn't wish that job on my worst enemy. I've never worked at job. For folks who don't know, when I mention Navy Pier, think of something that is 6 city blocks in length across the Lake Michigan. Now working for Aramark, oh, this is when I used to work overnights. Which I'm gonna be honest, if you're a young person, like early 20s, don't ever work overnights. Have a social life. Take care of your health. So
Honestly.
so like it's the equivalent of 6 city blocks, and that's something you and another person would have to clean. Like you would have to go through that entire area, sweep up, change out garbage bags, and mind you, it was a pain in the ass in the summer because it's summer. Garbage cans are filled with beer, rotting fruit, food, diapers, and it's been sitting in the hot sun all day.
People were throwing diapers away outside.
Oh yes, yes.
Ugh. Hot
This was
shit.
right. It's like little Caroline couldn't hold it, so you're just gonna throw the whole fuck. And there were times where I had to clean the parking garage of the Navy Pier, and there'd just be diapers right in
The
where the cars be
parking
parked.
garage?
Yes, I did.
Damn.
Yes, I did.
That sucks, and that's levels. That's different levels of
Yes,
floors you gotta walk
it's
through.
it's like there's that job had made. I had never felt such soul crushing. Isn't even the word for that job. It was more like a spirit. You know how some people have like night terrors.
Hmm.
Imagine if your night terror is just your occupation for 8 hours, just mocking you.
Were you able to like wear like headphones or anything or listen to music, or were you just walking around soulless?
This was kind of like in that area of you work overnights, so you can, but the very authoritarian manager who tried to get me fired for 6 months was hell bent on saying, no, no one can have headphones. No,
No one can have any joy here. Okay.
basically.
That's fun. So that was the worst one that you had?
That was
Or
easily the worst one. I had never worked a job. I'm pretty sure I cried at least twice the entire time I worked there. Like once on the train ride home, and then the other time it was summer, and I just went into the stairway, and just collapsed. I was just like, I'm a loser. This is it. I'm actually surprised I did not drink at all during that period when I worked there.
yeah. That's
Like I'm,
crazy. I've had a lot of jobs where like I've been in the bathroom and I was like having a fucking mental breakdown. Like
yep.
I'm in there crying, I'm on the phone, I'm like, I'm gonna have to fucking leave. Like I can't do it. And it's just crazy how places did that because I'm like, just because I need to pay for shit.
Hmm.
I hate life. Like it just sucks.
And see, that job was a really sad situation because it used to be one of those jobs that was a decent job for what it was. Like you got solid benefits and pension and all that type of stuff. But over time, they just started to save money, quote unquote. They just started taking things away, and the the only benefit of that job was it was hard to get fired from.
Yeah, and why was that?
I was union,
Ah, okay, okay.
and the union steward actually almost threatened to fight me at one point
Over what?
over because look, he was an older dude and he had a crush on one of the younger women who worked overnights with me. So I remember I was sitting like eating my lunch in one of the break rooms that was scattered throughout the building. And I remember he didn't corner me, but he appeared in the doorway out of nowhere. He scared the shit out of me.
Uh-huh.
And he basically said, "Stop fucking around." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, you know what I'm talking. I'm like, no, I
Hold
don't. And
on,
he's
you were sitting there just eating,
yes,
and she wasn't even around.
she wasn't even around. He thought I liked her. It's like, no. First off, she was like,
The
like
drama?
right.
What the
Oh, don't get me
fuck?
started on that. But it's like this dude who literally shoots up heroin once he gets off of work. And mind you, just because he does that, it was old. That motherfucker could run. I know he would be. I knew he would beat my ass.
Uh huh.
And
Damn.
that's all it was. But the funniest thing though, the funniest thing, because I used to always talk to this one guy who worked overnights with me. He used to be a boxer back in the day, like regionally known, pretty much. So he got into an argument with this other guy over like a dustpan. So hold on. So he hops in the elevator. He tells him to come here for a minute. I got to talk to you. So when he told me, he choked him and then lifted him off his feet and
By his
pinned him
neck.
against yes, like, and he pinned him against the elevator and told him, "Don't you ever do no shit. Don't you ever argue with me over no dustpan and no broom." And then he
What the
just dropped
fuck?
him. Then he ran out the elevator and grabbed a pipe, like ready to swing it at him.
Oh my god. That's just the overnight shit that was happening.
That's just the overnight. That was like having a deal. Like the overnight shifts weren't bad. They just dragged so long. They just felt like they wouldn't end. There wasn't really much work to do. It was a little creepy because of how quiet it would be. So there's that element of it too. And
Yeah.
that was just not wasn't a good place.
Well, at least you got out of there
The
and
truth.
didn't have
Oh,
to
if I
deal with
was,
that dude
oh,
anymore.
you
He's
know what?
fucking crazy.
You know what? This was like the final straw for jobs. This was the final straw. So they took me off of night shift and put me on day shift because the day shift manager found out the night manager was trying to fire me. This was a mind you, she was so incompetent in getting me fired. She tried for 6 months.
Okay.
Six months straight, every single day she's trying to get me fired.
Over just different things that she was saying that you
Just
were doing?
basically saying I wasn't a good worker, which it's like I'm
Okay.
not saying you're not wrong, but it's like, all right,
Yeah.
it was like I welcomed it almost.
What is she gonna do now?
Exactly. But with long story short, I knew I was done with that job when we had to work this thing called Lobster Fest at Navy Pier,
Okay.
and I had to clean the bathrooms. I go into the bathrooms, go into the stall. This person did not make it to the toilet.
They shit everywhere.
Everywhere,
Was it
just
a bunch of
splat.
lobster?
No, it looked like a really bad hamburger helper prep that somebody forgot to cook. Like it just was just bad.
Yeah.
And like after I cleaned it up and put everything in the toilet, the whole nine, the toilet overflowed. So I'm like, all right, let me go tell somebody we got a situation. I leave the stall. There's just random blood on the floor now.
Wait, what?
Exactly.
Wait, so you were in the stall cleaning, right? It started
Mhm.
overflowing. You left, and outside of it, there was blood.
There was some blood. Not a lot, but it was noticeably it was blood.
Who the fuck came in there and started
I have
bleeding?
I have no idea who decided to be emo in their mid 30s and like try to commit, but it was just like I'm done. I cannot do
What the
this.
fuck?
I
That's so
cannot.
random.
I was like, I had never. It's not even that I was defeated. It was just like that calm wave rushing over you. It's like
I'm
you
done.
don't need, you don't need this
Yeah.
anymore.
Honestly, sometimes it just gets you, and then you're just like, I'm gonna just leave and not even say anything to anyone.
Pretty much. But I did put a. It was a leave of absence I put in because that's when I started the job that I think that was honestly I got way more out of it than I needed to be honest, and it was for the better. It's actually
Hmm.
how I got out of the city.
Yeah.
And,
The janitor one?
no,
The other one that you started.
this is how I got into working in restaurants.
Okay. And what were you
So
doing in restaurants?
I I first started off as a busser. Well, no, a stocker. And for those who've never worked in a restaurant, it's sort of like a movie you've seen on TV. Like all the stereotypes and the like tropes of what type of person works in a restaurant were at this place. And I fucking loved it. I love to sum up the type of place I worked at. One of the mechanics was like, I only bring money to work to buy drugs.
Wait. because at restaurants there's always somebody that like sells something, right?
Someone has coke, someone has weed. This is back before dispensaries. Someone had we there was so much Xanax floating in that fucking place. It was just like restaurant jobs have a weird way of like making you grow up quicker than you need to because you're around so many different types of people from all walks of life, especially when you work in a restaurant in a major city. You're not just getting like local people from Chicago, you're getting people from Indiana, Florida,
Yeah, it's
wherever.
just like people from everywhere.
They're like they're like airports pretty much. Like you're just getting these many intersections of different people. And
Hmm.
but working in a restaurant where you serve a lot of like well off and oh, I make 70,000 a year type people, it can definitely work your nerves.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
How long did you stay there?
I stayed at that job for, let me see, 2014, 2017. That's when I flew out to California to open the location there.
Hmm. For the
And
same place.
same place.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that what you're doing now, or are you doing something different now?
I'm doing right now as of this time, I am bartending like 1 or 2 days a week, but right now I'm
Hmm.
also working for the post office.
Wow. How do you like that?
The post office is it's monotonous, it's repetitive, but it's not that bad. Like I've worked shittier jobs. Like
Yeah.
I cannot I cannot I can't express that enough to people. Like there's jobs that flat out suck, have nothing good for them, they're a dead end and the whole nine, but damn, it's not that bad.
Yeah. I don't know. Um, I was counting, and I worked 17 jobs
Whew.
since 2012. Yeah, that's
That's
a shit
insane.
ton.
I've worked so many
Um,
I've worked so many restaurant jobs. It's not even funny.
different restaurant jobs.
Oh yeah,
Did you just
especially
hate all of them?
uh no, because this is how I got into bartending.
Okay.
So for me, see, in restaurants, there is some level of like, you can actually move up that make people stay in them for so long. Like I went from stocking to being a bartender. For some people, they went from serving to being a manager. And
Hmm.
the skills you learn are like if you become a cook or a chef, you're always gonna have work. Always.
Yeah.
Like it no matter if it's chain, mom and pop, you're always gonna be able to make money somewhere. Same with like serving. And honestly, like working in restaurants is what kind of got me out of my shell and got me out of my head because I have to talk to people. I have to interact with people.
Hmm.
Even though I'm still in my nervous, like I was such a shitty bartender when I first started. I was like literally someone the drink would be half full and I walk up and be like, are you finished? Like,
Freaking out.
right.
Yeah. I feel like I went into the kind of jobs that I have now where I work with kids cuz I can't fucking deal with adults. Like I have just like too much going on in my head to the point where like once you start treating me like shit, now I'm fucking upset, I'm pissed off, and I'm gonna have like a bitchy face. And I'm like, I want to say something to you, right? But like, since I work with kids and I work with like autistic kids, I'm like, hey, look, you're upset. All right, we'll just take a break. We'll just move on. Like, it's fine. Like, I could deal with kids better than I could deal with adults. Cause, like, it just pisses me off the things that other adults feel like they have the right to say to you.
Or do. So
Yeah.
that restaurant job, right?
Hmm.
When I went from stocking to becoming a humble busser,
Okay.
uh, making some good money, making
Yes.
that after after the shift, let's get some drinks money. Uh,
Okay.
I'll never forget this. So when a server walks up to your table and they pour water, most normal, well-adjusted people are just gonna take it because it's free water.
Yeah. You
So
say
I walk
thank you and then move
exactly
on.
exactly.
Right? Okay.
So I walk up to this table. There's two old ladies. I pour water for the one lady, no problem. I pour water for the other lady. This woman takes her hand and puts it up to the pitcher and moves the pitcher out of the way. So now water is just pouring on the table. And she's looking at me like, I don't want any water. It's like,
What the fuck? So
It's
you
like,
felt
okay,
the need to touch my arm and
it's
push it
like
away.
it's like okay, okay, Ted Bundy. Like, first off, that's not how that,
Okay.
that's not how human beings like act. Like, and
Right,
it's
like
just
people don't do that.
it's like, and this is the thing that kills me is like teenage. Like, I've served a lot of young people, a lot of teenagers. They do not act like that across the board. Doesn't matter the ethnicity, the background, whether they're from out of the country, wherever. I have never seen a teenager do that. But this grown old ass woman felt the need to be like, no. Well, it's like she could have simply said, "Oh, no, 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 no water for me. That's it."
Right? And then you would have stopped. But I'm just
Exactly.
gonna push it out of the way. Like, what
But
is
this,
that?
but this future fucking grave digger over here, she's just like, come
Yeah.
on, man.
Man, I was working at Mariano's one time and I was working in the bakery and it was like 5-10 minutes before my shift was over and we had to wear like a white button up long sleeve t-shirt, right? Because we're in the bakery, so we have to wear white. And I had to wear like a tie and an apron. And on top, like at the end of the day, I would always be like, damn, I'm gonna unbutton my top button, take the tie a little bit, make it a little bit loose, right? I'm getting ready to go. And I did that one time and my manager was there and she's like, what are you doing? And I was just like cleaning because I'm like getting ready to go. And I was like, what? I'm just cleaning. And she's just like, why is your tie like that? And I was like, oh, because I'm getting ready to go. And then she's just like, you can just go clock out now. If the customers were to come up here and see that, what do you think they would think of this bakery? And it was like, bro, you're gonna really freak out because my tie's a little bit open.
They would
Like,
not they would
okay,
not care.
no one is coming in there and saying that.
No one like
No,
it depends on the type of area you're in, obviously. And yeah, there's decorums and all that, but it's like, dog, see, that's the thing about managers pre-COVID and the whole nine is like they were some of the most insufferable fucking people on the planet. It is like, dog, use your bachelor's degree in communication and do something else, please, for the love of God.
it's like they just get that position and they're like, I have to treat everyone like shit, like they're lower than me, right? Because I'm a manager. I got to make sure that they know they're below me. So I got to put them down about everything. I got to point out everything that's stupid to say something about. And it's like,
Right.
dude, I don't have the energy. Like, if I was ever going to be a manager, like, why the fuck would I want to make people feel like shit and not want to come over here and talk to me?
Like, you don't have a healthy work environment when people are dreading every time they see you're working with them.
Yes, right?
Like that, it's no one saying you have to treat us with kid gloves. We understand you got to be firm, not friendly, but like, dog,
Right. Like, the things you're coming to me to about, like, they make no sense. So now you're just a bitch in my face. Like,
right? It's like you're
it's not
just.
working.
It's like, yeah, I know you really wanted to sleep with Jerry, the fucking the one line cook, but he's sleeping with the new girl who works there. Like, that was a
Honestly, this isn't
that
my
was
fault, okay?
right. That was also the place I my first restaurant job. That place was just. I'm not gonna say Sodom and Gomorrah, but hook up central.
Yeah.
Hook up. One of the most like we had one manager who will remain nameless.
Okay.
Flat out fucking hated her. She had a hurricane name and like a rich preppy girl name too. So you know she wasn't shit. So like this is how bogus she was. She she had a husband who's one of the head chefs, right?
Okay.
So and we had sous chefs and line chefs. Apparently, there was a video going around of her giving head to one of the sous chefs who was the main chef's that's the guy he would watch over. So I'm thinking to myself like, yo, imagine that. Like imagine coming to work and like all the little underlings they're just giggling, cracking up and seeing you and it's like, yo, and the shitty part
Oh
was
my god.
the shitty part was he looked like he was the meanest guy on earth, but he was a solid dude. And that's what sucked about it.
Yeah, that he was just like a chill guy. And she just
Yeah.
like, oh my god. Not, look, he took that video on purpose though, right?
Oh hell yeah.
Like on purpose. Like
Hell yeah,
that
he
whole
did
thing
that.
was just like a joke. That's crazy. I
Yeah,
remember I
that's
was like, uh I was working at U-Haul, and like I was working there with this girl, and then like they hired in like this new guy, right? He's like just like this tall skinny dude, but he's always talking to her. And I guess like they started hanging out, going on lunches together, and then one day she was like, I had a dream about him that we had sex together. I was like, okay. Like it was just like random because we never talked like that. And I was like, okay. And she's like, I'm gonna tell him. And I was like, sure, go for it. And
It's like,
then like they ended up getting together, but she had a boyfriend and she still fucked
ooh,
him before she like left her boyfriend. And I was just there like every day, like, what is this bitch gonna tell me today? I see that we're working together. Like every week I was coming in and it was like new stuff that she was doing, and I was like, when is her boyfriend gonna find out? It was crazy. I was also like what, 19. It was just wild to me. I was like, the drama.
that's how it is. It's like it's such a like, oh wait, people do have sex with their coworkers all the time.
Yeah. Right. And I was like,
It
but
was
that's wild. You guys are crazy.
the wildest one, and a former guest of yours told me this story about a place he
Mhm.
used to work at, this grocery store. There was a guy, he worked there for a month, hooked up with this one girl, got her pregnant, and got fired.
And that goes into another thing because people be out there having sex recklessly. Like,
Oh yeah,
what are you
it's,
doing? I could not. Like, that's the
some
wild thing to me.
some of y'all out there have had friends who have got knocked down in the parking lot at Walmart. I guarantee. I guarantee.
Not the knockdown. Oh man.
But honestly, I mean, it's like stuff like that. Like, to be cliched, it's like that's kind of like what adulthood is, basically. Like, it's just like we're all just sneaking around because we like the rush and all that, and we like the whole this is someone new, this is someone from high school, I have no connection with them. What are they all about? Maybe it's a one and done, hit it, quit it. But I don't mind it. It's like, yeah, what else are we supposed to do? Like, be professional? Like, get the fuck out of here. I don't care about this.
People
Like
just
these,
do
like these,
crazy shit though.
yeah.
It's wild. It's wild to be around other people. Like the things also that people share when they're at work is like, damn, you don't even know me and you just told me that. Like this one chick was talking to me one day, just randomly in a conversation where we're talking about work, and she just brings up the fact that she used to do heroin, and I was like,
Oh yeah.
okay, like, was she trying to like get me to be like, oh cool, me too, or like, oh let's do it or something. Like I feel like
She
she
was
was
like,
trying to, she was
yo,
like
you got
trying
a
to
plug?
yeah, I feel like she was trying to do that, and I was like, okay, I never have. Like it's not like
It's
that's
like, yo,
something.
why is Jasmine always looking sleepy? What's wrong with her?
Honestly, it's just, I don't know. People are just out there like, what are we doing?
I mean, I was never. There was a period I was drinking before work, but not at home. I was always like hitting a restaurant spot,
Hmm.
doing a shot, then going into work. I no longer do that because I'm very much like level headed.
Yeah.
But oh yeah, you people be raw dogging life. Like like
me, me at
I was,
Amazon.
I feel you. I'm gonna tell a
Man,
lot of people this right now. If you've been to a restaurant, there's a strong chance cocaine is in the system of some of them cooks, bro.
I
No
feel
judgment
like
either. 'Cause that
honestly,
job sucks.
yeah,
It's
fucking
stressful.
dying
Like,
all day,
you
hot.
go to school doing what you got to learn all these ingredients, and you're damn near the manager yourself. Sometimes it's like restaurant work can make or break you. But for me, I definitely got more out of it because
Yeah,
like after a while, I became a lot more. Of course, working in restaurants in California is a completely different ball game. Completely.
yeah, just like all the way around with everything.
It's just like because this is going to okay. You want to know the reason why like Southern California has that stereotype of like, oh, I can't have gluten, yada yada yada.
Hmm.
Like, yeah, there are people who have a gluten allergy, but it's also because you're in a city where there's just a fuck ton more people. So yeah, you are gonna run into people with severe allergies more often than not.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Like, it's like, see, that's the thing about Chicago is that it spoils you a bit to like what a city is. You think Chicago, big city. Chicago is like a fucking neighborhood compared to LA. LA is huge.
Too many people.
It's like,
I'm over all the people out here. I could
want to
never.
know how many more people there are? Put it like this: there are more cars in LA than people in Chicago.
That's too many people.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, that's insane when you think about it.
That really is though. Like that's too
That's like,
much.
it's batshit crazy how many. And then it's like, again, it's like you run into all these different people, different cultures, and you have people who are like, I'm just out here for business, I'm trying to make it the whole nine, and you're trying to juggle that aspect of your life. You're like, am I doing enough? It's just like this endless like hamster wheel of what do you balance? What is important to me? What do I value? What are my principles and whatnot? And you can either let that consume you, or you could, to a degree, find a bit of solace in it because, like, it's not about you're not making it, but you're making it through the day.
Yeah,
And in my
honestly.
opinion, that matters. It's life is fucking stressful. It's hard. A lot of people really downplay it, but like, no, life is, when you really think about it, it is hard as hell. Like
Life
anybody,
fucking sucks. Like no one ever told
for
me that
real,
when I was little. Like they're just like, you're gonna have to get a job and this and that. And I was like, cool, it's gonna be so fun, right? I'm gonna
right?
help people. It's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna get a
You're gonna
little
skateboard
outfit.
to work,
Yeah, it's gonna be great. The weather's gonna be like California every day in Chicago.
right?
Like it's gonna be so nice. Because when you're little, you watch all those movies, and I was like, wow, Halloween's gonna be awesome, and it's always like fucking snowing and raining.
Here's a little tip for anybody that's like a huge horror fan, Halloween fan. If you ever get the chance to go to LA, go during the Halloween season.
Gorgeous.
Well, not gorgeous, but they do Halloween like how you see it in the movies. Like there's a
And
whole neighborhood where everybody's just dressed up in costumes and shit. It's I'm not a big Halloween person. I'm just because my costumes suck because I try too hard to be like, ooh, that's clever. Like
something that someone knows nothing about.
this is how I swear we kind of got off topic actually, but uh, one of my costumes, I was this is so embarrassing. I had a black and white flannel, and I had a
Okay.
white T-shirt, and I wrote Friday, Saturday, Sunday on it, and I had balloons on it. And when people asked me what I was like, the weekend.
I'm so dead.
I thought I was so fucking clever. I'm looking back, I'm like, damn, I tried too hard. Damn.
People were like, that makes no sense.
Right. Okay.
They
But
just hit you with a thumbs up.
right. So to kind of get back to the jobs for like a hot second.
Okay.
So I started bartending. Um, Bartending is such a weird occupation because it's like, the whole serving people alcohol, and you become a therapist depending on where you're at. And then also everybody offers you drugs and shit. It's like, no, seriously, like,
Yeah.
again, it's like you said, it's like when you're a kid, you watch The Simpsons, you watch Mo at the Moe's Tavern, you're like, that's gonna be me. I'm gonna be a bartender.
Right? It's gonna be easy. All I gotta do is just pour liquid and then I'm
I just
done.
gotta
Right?
pour
Just
beer.
quick.
I don't have to learn how to make a fucking Cadillac. That'll
What
call
the
a nation.
fuck?
I swear to God. You know what? I'm drawing the line in the sand for the people out there. As a bartender, if you come up to me and you want to order a Cadillac, a Vegas bomb, a white tea shot, what the fuck is that other drink? I cannot stand a Bloody Mary or an Adios. No, get away from me,
A
please.
Cadillac's like a margarita, right?
It's like a shitty version of a margarita with extra steps.
Yeah. Lime juice, orange
Right.
liqueur. What the
Some,
fuck?
some people want it smoky, so you got to use mezcal instead of tequila.
What the fuck? Okay, so fuck those people that are ordering those drinks. I'm
No,
just get a
seriously.
beer. Just get a beer, right?
Right. And it's like, no, I don't. Also, spoiler alert, most bartenders do not care what beer you drink or what liquor. Like, no, for the guys out there, no one gives a shit. If you like Cosmos, order you a fucking Cosmo. I've literally seen your like Sons of Anarchy dudes knock back White Claws. No one fucking cares, dog.
Yeah. Like you feel like people were like worried about what you were thinking of them because their
It's
drink.
it's definitely a generational thing, but you do get like younger dudes who feel like, oh, I'm a man, so I got to get my whiskey neat. It's like, no, you don't. Like, no one gives a shit.
You want a
No
cranberry
one's
juice?
Right. Like no one's impressed. You downed your $15 shot like immediately. Like no one cares.
Right?
Just don't be weird. Don't take pills before you come to the bar. You're good.
Did anyone ever confess anything fucking crazy to you as like working as a bartender?
Yes. There was the
Let me
guy.
hear it.
Okay, so at my current job where I bartend at this like little small state-run casino. There was a guy. This fucker came in. The first thing he said, he walked with like that 1,000 yard stare, and he was just like, and I'm thinking, okay, like maybe he's on something or something. Because long story short, when you're working at a casino, you're usually in an area with a lot of drugs are being used anyway,
Okay.
depending on the area. And the first thing he said was, "I just bought my boyfriend a new car, and I just lost over $1,000."
Okay. Like today?
Yes, like literally, like he said, within an hour he lost that amount of money.
Oh, he was coming for a drink.
Yes,
he was he was he was forced into buying that car. His boyfriend was probably like, "I'm gonna leave you if you don't give me this car."
and now that poor man has to go home and yell at his boy, yell at his boyfriend who's wearing a Garfield shirt, asking him, "What is it that I don't do? What?"
Because you know that that's how it started.
Oh hell yeah! Another. This is my favorite one, and this is something that this is a little bit more, a deep cut. Is when someone walks up to the bar, asks for a straw, and they immediately go to the bathroom.
Oh my god.
Oh
I,
yeah,
I never even thought about that. But
oh
I've
yeah.
never worked like at like a bar or anything that I really had to give people
You
like straws
like
for.
it's so casual. At first, you don't notice it. Like I used to also work at this spot in West Hollywood. It was like the bougie. It was so fucking bougie, and I hated that place. And oh god, I fucking hated that place. There was one guy. He came up to the bar because it was also a hotel, and the bar was like accessible from the pool on the rooftop. He literally just walks up to the bar and jokes, finger quotes, about how he stole liquor from behind the bar. It's like, and this is like, why the fuck? Like, what is wrong with you?
Why are you why would he come up there and do that?
Because he's like an out of touch, like rich kid, doesn't know. He thinks he's cool. He thinks he's being
Okay.
whimsical and witty.
That's so fucking random. Like, that kid was probably just like on coke and just acting crazy.
So many people on coke at that place. I was there for an overdose too, which was kind of scary.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and this one woman who pretended to be a friend of the woman who overdosed tried to make a big scene of it. Like, I need to speak with the manager, please. Do you know who this is that is in the ambulance? And I'm like, Mark. Like,
Right? What
it's
the
like, yeah,
fuck?
you claim to be a friend, but you don't even want to ride in the ambulance with your friend who's overdosed. Like,
Yeah,
get the
right?
fuck out
Like
of
you
here.
have to go with them. What the fuck
Like
did she
you,
want?
the social climber. Like it's one of those things you notice in like environments like that is the rich person, famous person, rich person, famous person, regular person, and person who's trying to use all of them to social climb, basically.
Yeah. What the fuck? That's
I
wild.
know. It was just like that's the thing. Like bartending, like I'm trying to think of. There's so many instances of just like I would get this a lot. I mentioned this to one of my homies. Like at the bar, okay, when you go to a casino, obviously things are overpriced, and obviously we're taught to always upsell. Where I work at, a shot of 1,400 is $14. That's
Hmm.
relatively cheap. You go to any other casino, that's $50, $70, depending on who's working that night.
Holy fuck.
One woman threw a fucking tantrum over that and the fact that her husband's Bud Light was $5.
That's
Think about
hella cheap.
exactly. It's like you run,
$5 for a beer?
yes, at a casino.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's like you just the
But
level
you're
of
coming here to spend money. You're gonna
right.
complain about that. Don't go out.
You're coming here to blow the money you got from an inheritance because grandmama passed away.
Right? Now you're pissed off because of $5 beer.
Right, because you blew every fucking thing, and your husband's gonna go have sex with one of the escorts across the street in the shitty hotel.
Man. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I feel like the stories there would just I'd have to start writing about that or something.
No, you really you start like it's just I run into there's this one guy. He is such a character in the most obnoxious way. He's one of these old dudes who blows through his money and tries to be like pay attention to me so I can show you how cool I am, then buy me a drink and shit. You know, like it's just you run into
Yeah.
so much of that. It's just obnoxious.
Yeah. It's just like people just wasting money.
Wasting money, telling you unfunny jokes, telling you about uh I think my husband's cheating on me, wink wink, nudge nudge, trying to get me to hook up with her. It's like
Yeah. People are desperate and I guess like them just like drinking, it just brings it out in them.
it definitely does. Like the one thing I notice is this is always fascinating to me is like I get a lot of people who are recovering addicts who drink a lot and very chill, very respectful, the whole nine. Like, I don't judge. I'm in no room to judge anybody. But then you get Joe Dickhead and fucking Jesse the asshole who want to waltz in there and be loud as hell because they're pounding back Coors Lights like it's fucking
Yeah. Like they're really doing something.
basically you get so much of that like bravado and posturing. It's just like, all right, I'm impressed.
Yeah. Damn. Um so I guess like you feel like you like I guess like the bartending stuff the most in like restaurants out of all
Yeah.
like the other places that you've like had to work.
Oh yeah, it's no but like yeah they suck for a lot of reasons, but I don't mind. I think it's funny because they help me get out of they help me get out of my shell a lot, because when you're so used to thinking in your head you don't know how to react on your feet basically, and working in restaurants has helped me with that like tenfold. Like it's not even comparable. Like now I can hold conversations with people no problem.
Yeah. So like at when you're working at like the bars and stuff like that, do you feel like the need to strike up a conversation with somebody or do you usually just wait for them to say it?
I usually wait for them to say it, like if they're a sports fan that's easy. If they're already jovial, that can be a red flag sometimes because that means they've probably been drinking beforehand. And
Mhm.
honestly, it's like it's nothing to like that's honestly the hardest part of the job is the social aspect. Making the drinks is nothing after a while. Like the information is out there. Yeah, you're gonna have to go through some whole little pathology about the, you know, Irish car bomb and why it's called that and shit because you're in a hurry to figure it out. But like you really do have to kind of become a people person, even when you don't
Mhm.
want to.
Yeah. And do you feel like it just like makes you shut down after work like you don't want to talk to
Oh,
people?
immediately. Immediately. There's no talking. I don't even put on music half the time when I'm coming home from work.
Yeah. That sounds like a burnout. I
Oh
get it.
yeah.
I know what you mean. Like when you have to go home in silence, it's just like I just need a fucking break.
You just need something to bring you solace to bring you back.
Yeah. I
Because you
got
go
I
ahead.
got like noise canceling earbuds, like some nice Bose ones cuz like after working with kids all day and they're screaming and acting crazy, I just like put those on and I just sit in the car and like I just drive home cuz like it gets fucking overwhelming and like I need nothing. I need no sound and it feels good.
Oh
Just
yeah, because
silence.
you need that break away from work.
Yeah.
Like you can't bring it home. Don't bring it home. Don't bother talking about it like that. Unless it's really like your career, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. Cuz then that shit's just going to like stress you out.
And what are you stressing over at the? See, your case is different though because you're dealing with kids. You're dealing with
Yeah.
like the future. I'm dealing with the past
You're
and the
dealing with the
present.
end of it.
No, seriously. There is one guy at my bar. This fucker is 90 years old. He's a nice guy, but I'm like, damn,
Still,
for real, and just knocking back Modelo's like it's nothing.
damn. What does he talk about?
He keeps to himself because there's where I work at in the bar. There's a lot of horse racing stuff, so that's mostly what he focuses on.
Hmm. Wonder what he's thinking about. Wonder what his life is.
Say, I mean, people out here got stories for days. They will talk.
Yeah.
They will randomly. You know what's funny about them is they remind me of people from Chicago, except for with Chicago people, we're like awkward but friendly. Out here, they're like sincere and friendly, but both of them have that "don't mistake my kindness for weakness" aspect to them. You know?
Yeah. I feel like I don't really talk to too many people with all like the jobs that I've had. It's just kind of been like I try to keep to myself. I was over it. I didn't like any of them.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I work.
I
There was who did I not at this bar? I didn't like quite a few people, but they all got fired, which wasn't smart. But
yeah.
yeah.
So at the beginning, before we had gotten on, we were talking about how you said you had did a podcast or whatever before.
Oh my god. Oh
What was that
god.
about?
Okay, so let's
When?
do let's do another trip down memory lane.
Okay.
The year is 2010. There's this
2010.
new hot technology out called Ustream. It was basically Twitch before Twitch, and you could use it to broadcast shows. And growing up, like I go so far back with I've been listening to podcasts since like 2009. Like back
That's
when
crazy far back.
no, for real. Like back when it was considered a dead medium almost because it had a little buzz in 2006, 2007. Then for like a good 3, 4 years, it was kind of like on the way out. So I go so far back with it as a, format. It's how I knew all my cool indie music.
Wow, okay.
So
The
like,
hot take.
so I got my refund check from the community college that I went to. I bought my laptop, bought my microphone, called my friend Jordan. I'm like, we need to make a podcast. And we did it
Okay.
and we did it in the most after school ass special way where we did it in his mom's garage.
Okay.
And I was so dumb about it. You see, there's this thing like I'm pretty sure you know about this, like how sometimes you can hear yourself talking and how you got to cut that out because it'll just cause you to stop talking, like you'll almost
Yeah,
have a stroke.
it's weird. It's too hard to do. Yeah.
And I did that the entire show and just shut down.
You did not.
Yes,
So you could hear yourself echoing and
yes,
then just started
and
with
I
the
couldn't say
mission.
anything. I was like, this, all right, screw this. I had this joke among my friends, my homies. Shout out to my boy Frank and my boy Jew because they used to podcast, and when I used to come from my shitty janitor job working overnights, I would listen to their podcast on my way home. It's like, wow, other people are funnier. They were genuinely funny as fuck, and it's like they
Yeah.
also hate their job, so it's perfect. But I told them like I'm like the deadbeat dad of podcasting because I started so many of them, but they never went past like episode 3 or 4.
Hmm.
They were just not good. They were terrible. They were absolutely off. Like I was so shitty at it. I had one episode where I did a fucking weather break.
Wait, what? The weather?
Yes.
Okay. How did that start off?
I literally had nothing else to talk about. So I was like, oh, let's look at the weather. It's like, what?
Tuesday is going to
And
be raining.
it's pre-recorded. So it's out of date by the time it's uploaded. Why would anybody care?
Oh man.
And
When
then it's like
what was this called? Like what was your podcast called?
okay, the first podcast was the Loose Square Show, which dope name.
Okay, yeah.
The second one was the Sleeping Pill podcast.
Like that.
The other, what was the other that I did? Okay, let me dial it back a bit. So about
Okay.
the Loose Square Show, I kind of started some shit with some Nintendo fanboys at the time
Okay.
on YouTube. See, this was back. I'm gonna sound like such a fucking old guy.
This
This is
is when
back when
you're in the comments starting arguments.
right. This is back when it to do that. Like this is back when YouTube wasn't like, oh, how did this person get famous? Oh, their dad's like they work at Google so they can fuck with the algorithm, that type of stuff. It was like it was the last days of the Wild West of the internet. So I just started like shitting on Nintendo fanboys, and it
Okay.
started this little brief little war where they called into my show and I just started shitting on them basically. Like I just said the dumbest things.
You had a call in line?
Yes.
I love that.
Folks, this
Okay.
is back. If you know what Blog Talk Radio is, you know which era I'm talking about.
What the fuck? Okay, that's awesome. I
And
like a call in.
and look, that's all I wanted. That growing up as a kid, again, it's that kid mindset. I'm gonna have a podcast. It's gonna be cool. I'm gonna have callers. I'm gonna be all, suave and like, give that wisdom. And it's like I was terrible.
You're like telling everyone the weather.
I pissed this one dude off so bad. He was a no, he was a Nintendo guy, but he was like, I don't know if he was friends with this other YouTuber, but he always used to record his videos in his bathtub. and
Okay,
I just
that's a thing.
and I just remember him going off on me. He's like, "Oh, Mr. So and So, oh, you're random, all right. You're just a drone for Sony. Your mind's so baked. You can't think for yourself." And I'm like, "That's how I
Wait, that's
knew
what he was telling you from his
it was
bathtub?
literally, yes, literally about video games." Like my good homie Sterling fried the fuck out of him about that, and
People are
then
out
people
there living such weird lives and doing weird shit, like being
before
obsessed about things.
before it was like faked. You know what I'm saying? Because so much of shit now is like
Yeah,
faked or rage bait or taken out of context. It's just it was definitely way more fun back then, and it mean spirited to a degree, but it was like if you
that's what
could dish
everyone
it
was doing.
right. We all have some off color material that's somewhere lost to the
Oh my
interwebs.
god.
We all have those very self important Facebook posts. It is what it is.
Please don't ever pull any of those up. It's like I need that shit to be gone. I feel like the things that people used to say back in the day on Facebook and like MySpace is like, oh god, reach for attention anymore, right? Are you
Some,
sad today? What is your
some guys,
relationship? What it's
right,
complicated.
right. Some guys have swag. I have personality.
Oh my god, 15 likes from everybody in your
Right.
gym class.
Nailed it. Deep.
Yeah, the babes actually love me, so I'm kind of cool.
I fancy myself a bit of a stand-up comedian on the books, Facebook that is.
Yeah, right. An original comic.
Oh God, don't get me started on that. When I tried to do stand-up, don't get me started on that.
Yeah. Man, it's been great. Thanks for coming on and hanging out and talking about jobs.
It's a bit of you run a fine ship. I'm proud of you. It's dope to see people still do this,
Yeah, it's fun. I really like it. It's been a lot of fun. It's something to do. I like to talk a lot, so I'm just like, I need to just sit down and talk.
and it's fun to exchange stories.
Yeah, for sure. I like having different people on because, like, I don't know anything that's about to come out of their mouth. I don't know what your job experiences are. I don't know what you've been doing in your life. Like, it's just so fun. It's been great.
It's definitely it's a great way to kill time. That's why I
Oh,
still
yeah.
like the medium.
Yeah, honestly, I'm like, podcasts get me through the day. Sometimes I can't listen to music, and it's just like, I need to just listen to someone else talk. I need something to chill.
I'm very much in my audiobook era these days.
Ooh, I do like an audiobook, but sometimes I run out of hours, and I'm like, fuck that
Oh, don't
shit.
get me started on that. That pisses me off so
Are you
much.
on Spotify?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, and then when you found out for the first time, you're like, what?
I was so offended.
What the
It was
fuck?
like it was like my personal 9/11. I'm like, are you serious? How
I was
dare you?
I was starting to read Lord of the Rings on there, and I was like, why is
Ooh,
it not doing it? And then I went in and I had to like Google it, and I was like, you only get 11 hours? What the fuck? And then I went to go see how much it was to buy the book or to buy extra hours, and I was like, that's too much money. So I was like,
it
fuck
really
it.
is.
I gave up. So now I have to read like shorter books because
It's
it
like
hurts.
it's like if you're gonna listen to Infinite Jest, good luck. That fucker is like 60 something hours.
It's gonna take you years. There's gonna be no way.
Yeah,
Yeah, I could not. But thanks for coming on. It was nice.
it's been a pleasure.
We'll definitely have to have you on again. This was a really good episode.
I appreciate that.
All right, well, thanks for hanging out with us, you guys. Bye.
Take care. Also,
Oh yeah, the coin flip, right?
oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, yeah.
That and whatever else.
London won 5-7 because I stopped midway. So I'm just
Okay.
gonna disqualify that, and I will be going to Brazil.
Okay. That works.
Follow me on Substack
Yes.
at Whiskey and Waffles because I'm trying to get off of social media, so I'm going back to writing. And you can find a copy of my novella. where I post the link there and everything. I'm gonna have all that up by this weekend. So
Sounds great. Thanks again.
yeah, no problem. Take care.
All right, bye.
Bye.